Yeah.
Mhm.
So, hello, aloha, beautiful souls. Thank you for joining us in this conversation today around breathwork and, in particular, Breath of Bliss ceremonies. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jessika Devika. I'm a New Earth architect, a New Earth priestess, and a transformational guide. I help people to redesign their life to reshape the world. And I've been working with mainly women in a variety of different somatic and healing arts for nearly 20 years now. And I'm just embarking on this journey of learning to hold space and facilitate breathwork ceremonies, which is why I'm joined here today with Rachel, who myself and Rachel are in the midst of our breathwork facilitator teacher training to learn a particular modality of breathwork called Breath of Bliss. So thank you for joining me today, Rachel, to have this conversation. And yeah, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Rachel Heaney, and I've been working in the retreat spaces the past 10 years, many different retreats, women's retreats in Australia and overseas. And I've been passionate about helping support people on their journey of discovering the truth that lives within them. So I also am a Kahuna bodywork therapist and energy healer and supporting people, yeah, with Kahuna, which is a type of massage, it's a type of Hawaiian style massage that works on the physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic levels. And it's very aligned with breathwork as well. And I've been supporting many breathwork facilitators over the years and felt the call to dive deeper into this modality that is so transformational. So, yeah, I'm excited to be journeying with Jessika through Breath of Bliss training.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when we meet because I also do Lomi Lomi. I do temple style Lomi. So I think it's the same as Kahuna, right? The temple style and Kahuna. It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
wow.
we're gonna have to do a bit of bodywork exchange when we meet in Hawaii next week.
Ooh, getting goosebumps. Absolutely.
And so yeah, let's dive straight in. So I'm really curious to know because you've facilitated with breath work. You have a lot more experience within the breath work world than me. So I'm curious to know your story of how you discovered or how you first discovered breath work and how that led you to Breath of Bliss.
Wow. Okay. So my first encounter with breathwork came very synchronistically, probably about 9 years ago. And I had moved. So before I started working in the retreats, I was working in the car industry and motor industry. So I'd spent 10 years working in a completely male-dominated industry and had been taken to a health retreat where I had this knowing. So this was about 14 years ago. I had a divine knowing that I was going to work at that retreat one day, not knowing how or why, but just kept following the signs and took that leap. So I left and all the doors unfolded very seamlessly. And I moved from Sydney to the Gold Coast in Australia and started working at that retreat. And in that time, I was going through the biggest shift, completely changed from corporate to living at a retreat space, surrounded by nature and surrounded in working in a feminine industry, which was beautiful, but such a change for me. And so many things shifted in that time. And I remember waking up one day and I just got this message come through in my meditation saying I needed to do Kundalini yoga. Now, I'd never heard of Kundalini yoga. I never knew what Kundalini was. And I was like, okay, I heard the message. And then later that day, I got a request online from a girl that I didn't know, and I looked on her page, and she was a Kundalini yoga instructor. So I went to that, and I don't know if anyone has tried Kundalini yoga, but there's a lot of breath work in there. And I went to that, and the shifts that I was having from that breath work was profound. And I was in that instant, like, wow, this is really powerful work. And I dedicated, yeah, a lot of time doing Kundalini yoga for that. And then as years went by, when I started training with my Kahuna and Lomi Lomi training, we do focus a lot on the breath. And so experiencing how that works and the gift and seeing how the breath has been weaved into all these different modalities because it's so powerful and it's so needed and it is the gateway to our healing. So I was doing breath work and experiencing a lot through there. And then since then, I've been again receiving guidance, and I'd be guided, literally be guided to breathwork facilitators that were sharing breathwork, and they're always looking for people to come and support, or they weren't always looking, but I always ended up being support for them. So it's always been such a passion for me to be in those spaces and hold people through those and support. And I had often shied away of being leading any of these breath works, but I know deep down, about 6 years ago, I experienced my first Breath of Bliss ceremony when I was going through quite a transformational stage and coming out of a abusive relationship, and I felt lost and didn't know who I could talk to. Um, I felt really not safe in my body, and I felt like I was about to burst at the seams with emotions that I've been suppressing. And I came across Christabel teaching Breath of Bliss ceremony, and I knew that that's where I had to be because I knew the power of breath was it was powerful in helping shift things. Breath of Bliss was a completely different experience to what I had experienced in other breath works, where this, I went in feeling so heavy and then left feeling so light and like I'd transmuted all of that heaviness and dense energy. And I knew in that moment, so 5 or 6 years ago, that I wanted to share Breath of Bliss one day. And so I've been waiting for that moment. And then it came clear that Christabel was offering it again. And yeah, I signed up. So that is my journey with breathwork. That was a long little
No, that was
story, many
amazing. That
stories.
was, yeah, such a good story. And here we are. And yeah, because I've been the same as you, we've been waiting quite a while because the pandemic obviously happened. I was supposed to go and do the breath work in person, breath work training, yeah, 4.5 years ago when the pandemic happened, and I had everything booked and then it all got cancelled. And so, yeah, I've been waiting for the moment until, a live in person opportunity comes up again. But yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah, there's quite a lot to dive into, even just with that. It's amazing that your journey and your transition from the more masculine corporate world into these healing modalities were all like this intuitive based. If you hadn't even heard of what Kundalini was, but you had the message was given to you to go and do it. So it's a really incredible when you have all of the kind of the intuitive and the synchronistic insights to dive into a different path in life. Yeah, it's really really nice, really special. So yeah, for me, my very first experience of breath work, well, I mean, I've been meditating, going to different kind of meditation and psychic development circles for maybe just under 20 years. And I think yeah, through the kind of meditation, I guess, was my first like little bit of introduction to breath work, but it was more visual guided meditations. I would end up teaching guided meditations and holding ceremonies, but it was a mix of everything and not so much just focused on the breath. And yeah, with Christabel. So Christabel Zamor is the founder of Breath of Bliss, and I discovered her many moons ago, which feels like a lifetime within other lifetimes, back when I was a hoop dancer, and she was actually a very world-renowned hoop dancer herself. And she would do a teacher training to share how to, you would learn how to teach it as like a kind of structured dance kind of class. And so my introduction to Breath of Bliss was actually really with that. So one of the teacher trainings that I went to, we were learning how to teach people to dance with a hula hoop. But at the end of the training, on the very last day, Christabel led us through this breath and body movement guided journey. And I remember, I don't really remember exactly what she said, but I remember the feeling at the end of it. We had our eyes closed, and I felt a lot of shifts in energy and emotion. And I had this overwhelming feeling that I wanted to cry and have this emotional release. But I did the British thing and was like, oh no, don't be so silly, I can't cry. We're just learning to teach people to hoop dance. This isn't, we're just learning to, yeah, to hoop. It's nothing to do with having, crying. There's no need to cry. And when finally I opened my eyes and I looked around the room, and I saw that pretty much everyone else had tears streaming down their face, and other people were experiencing this emotional release. And so I was like, oh, okay, it's okay. I'm in a safe place, and this is like a normal thing to be having this emotional release. And so I had my little cry, and that was really my first introduction to how breath and sound and body movement can create these shifts in emotions and feelings, and also made me aware of the innate gifts that some people hold, like Christabel, to be able to provide this safe container and create the energetical and the vibrational space and the container for people to be able to go on these journeys and create these shifts that allow you to have different feelings and have these emotional releases, if that's what's to come through. And so that really kind of planted a seed that you can use breath and sound and the voice and music for people to have these expanded experiences. And then after that, I began to go deeper into my meditation ceremonies, and I also retrained with the Lomi Lomi, and was working a lot, one-on-one with people, and would create, this big kind of ceremonial experience that was so much more than just a massage. That really knowing that my voice and my words and the breath can create these shifts in emotions and energy for transformation. And so after many years, when I realized that Christabel was kind of moving away from hooping and going on to breath work, having had that experience with her from all of those years ago in the hooping training, I realized that, I really wanted to learn how to hold these breath work ceremonies, so that people could have these expanded states of awareness and have these higher states of consciousness experiences. And so that's really my experience with breathwork. One thing I did want to say, at some point I did try some other modality of breathwork, but it was this very structured counting. It felt very forced. It was way too structured. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't really get anything out of it because I felt like it was just so rigid. Whereas obviously with the Breath of Bliss ceremonies that we're learning, it's just so much more I guess you can just be in more in tune to what feels right for you. You know, there is no counting. Obviously, there is some guidance to breathe a little bit faster or a little bit slower at times, but it feels like you really have the space to be able to breathe how you want, to move how you want. And I think that just allows for a more deeper experience. It feels like you can just kind of open yourself more completely and fully and just completely let go with the breath of bliss. So that's why I really particularly like it.
Wow, that was a lot of sharing in there and so many pieces again. That I love that you also do the Lomi Lomi, and I love that you also did some other breathwork training. I was the same, and as you say, it's like they're completely different. And I feel a lot of other breathworks are the very sort of like a masculine rather than the feminine. And Breath of Bliss is really that feminine and allows you to flow and be in your natural rhythm, which creates such an opening to the divine wisdom, creativity, intuition. And it's just, yeah, it's not a forcing, it's more in your body, not your head. So it's such a beautiful modality. And yeah, I'm so grateful and so excited to be sharing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so maybe then this will be a good opportunity to discuss like what our experiences are with what we found to be the most benefit. Like what would you say has been, yeah, the biggest benefit for you doing Breath of Bliss? Have there been any yeah, kind of big discoveries or insights that you feel, you know, are particularly profound?
Mm. What I love about Breath of Bliss is that every ceremony I do is completely different and completely unique and all amazing in their own ways. So, over the years, many years ago, where I was in that place where I had so much repressed and suppressed emotion and didn't feel safe in my body, that allowed me the gateway to realize that, oh wow, you can have fun and release that. But also, so that was a really key point where it doesn't have to be so heavy. And also the the insight that I receive in Breath of Bliss is it helps everything, all these pieces just come together. It's like this puzzle that you've been working through life, trying to find all these different pieces. I feel like Breath and Bliss just incorporates them all, and it's set out in a way that allows you to get to know yourself on a deeper level and see maybe old patterns or stories of beliefs that are still running in your system. So it allows you to also rewrite those and take on some new programs and some new stories and clear out any stagnant energy.
Mm.
And it allows you to just be in your body and move. And when we move that energy, which is the emotion is just the energy in motion. So when we get into our bodies and move and sound and breathe, it just shifts that, and it allows us to experience more bliss, more higher states of consciousness, lots of amazing things. Every ceremony is different. You might have beautiful tears of joy, you can have experience pleasure, orgasmic bliss. Other times it's realization or it's deep forgiveness and feeling deep love for yourself and gratitude for your body and just this connection to all that is. It just allows you to see life in a whole new way. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with everything that you said. Yeah, I've experienced all of that. And yeah, as you were saying about um, pulling like pieces of a puzzle coming together. Like a lot of what you were saying, it sounded like alignment, you know, coming into alignment and having like an understanding of, yeah, past experiences, also, yeah, the patterns, you know, outdated patterns, but then replacing them with new patterns and new habits. And yeah, so I've experienced a lot of what you said, and I would definitely say as well that each ceremony is, yeah, completely different. I've had completely different experiences every single time. But I think for me, one of the best benefits that I found from Breath of Bliss is that having these really kind of expanded states of awareness, these really heightened states that I've only ever experienced before when I've sat with psychedelic plant medicines. And so for me, that's probably what I found to be the most potent benefit, because it means that you don't need to go, you know, halfway around the world in the Amazon to, you know, find a shaman to sit with, and it, you know, it be some big elaborate thing, that actually just in the comfort of your own home, if you're listening to, you know, to recordings, you can have these deeply profound experiences with all of these insights and revelations, and processing different kind of emotions and going really, really deep. And it can just be in the comfort of your own home, you know, at any time of the day or night that you choose. And I think for me, that's definitely been, yeah, one of the most profound benefits, because it means that having these expanded states are accessible to anyone, you know, at any age, without any type of restrictions, like I said, of needing to go around the world and find shamans and, you know, in different situations. So I think for me that, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, that's definitely been the most powerful benefit, which is why I think that it's suitable, you know, for everyone to do and to try, and why everyone should try it, because yeah, it's also, I feel since I've been doing them, much more aligned into, yeah, to my soul's path and my soul's purpose, and just generally just feeling a lot lighter and a lot happier and a lot more joyful. You know, it's called obviously Breath of Bliss for that reason, because it really is taking us into those higher frequency emotions and vibrations of the love and the joy and the bliss and the ecstasy. And I, for myself, I'm a recovering serious person. So for quite a few years, I had the label of thinking that, oh, I'm a serious person, that's just how I am, and not really realizing that seriousness is the shadow frequency of ecstasy, and that by having this label of being a serious person, that I was actually shutting myself off to a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. And so yeah, just the opportunity to feel, you know, really good and to have more joy in your life is definitely another great benefit for doing Breath of Bliss. So yeah, so is there anything that you feel like you would like to share, or is there anything coming to mind that you feel like you want people to know about what you're doing, or anything more about Breath of Bliss?
Yeah, I feel like Breath of Bliss, it really shows you that everything that we need is within us, and we have access to it in any moment. And it teaches us to be more present and be here. So come down from our mind into our heart and into our body. And that is where bliss lives.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm passionate about sharing that. I'm going to be running in-person Breath of Bliss ceremonies along with online Breath of Bliss ceremonies, and I would love to do some recordings because, as Jessica says, they're so potent to be able to do them in your own space and time, and that it makes it accessible for anyone. So anyone can do this, and yeah, to come out of seriousness into joy and experience that childlike fun. You know, we don't have to grow up and be serious and not have fun. Like kids know how it's done. So yeah, I'm going to embrace more of that. So I'm excited to share more once I get back from Hawaii. So,
Yeah, we're going to be
yes.
meeting really soon, which is really exciting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Well, yeah, thank you so much for for allowing this conversation to happen today. And yeah, where can we? What's your Instagram handle? How can people find you?
Oh, yes. So my Instagram is _Heaney, Hean for November, EY. H_Heaney. So you can find me there and yeah,
Yeah,
look forward to hearing from you.
and you can
And
find.
thanks again, Jessica, for having me on here.
Yeah, welcome. And you can also find me under new_earth_serenity. And if this will be on YouTube as well, so I'll also put links there. But yeah, thank you, Rachel, and thank you everyone who tuned in to listen today. And yeah, just have a beautiful and blessed day wherever you are in the world. And remember to breathe, take some deep breaths today, and yeah, have a beautiful day. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I end it, if it will end the meeting or stop
oh
recording.
yeah,
So
I see what
maybe
you
I
mean.
just leave. But no, that
Oh
was
yeah.
good. I think that was good.
Oh, that
It's
was good.
strange for me because my camera is actually way up here, but to look at you on the
Oh,
screen, I have to look all the way
yes.
down here. So the whole time you were talking,
Oh,
I'm just looking at the lens, smiling.
oh,
I
see,
can't
I
actually.
realized that after when we were doing that, I was like, oh, I don't know whether I'm supposed to be looking because I was looking at you, but I'm like, should I be looking at the thing like while you were talking?
Yeah, but I
So
think
anyway,
anyway, it's because you're on your laptop, right? So your camera screen,
yes.
your camera lens is really close, so it doesn't. I don't think it makes any difference if you're glancing. But for me, it's like a really big distance if I look at the camera here and then I look down here. So I'm listening to you like just smiling at my camera.
Well, I didn't know whether I was like, shit, I should have asked if I was, if it's going to look weird if while you're talking, I'm looking at the camera. So I wasn't, I was just looking at you.
Yeah.
But so that might look a bit weird, but
No, I think that
I
was
was
good
looking at
though.
you on my screen.
Yeah, I think that was good. I think that was a nice little introduction. And yeah, I think people can get a good idea of like what it's about and what we're about as well.
Mm.
So yeah.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for inspiring me and getting me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, no, it's also good. Oh, I mean, like I said, it's only because I've done Christabel's other online courses that I'm just kind of used to, to doing all of this stuff.
How
But
to
when I
do.
did her courses last year, I was terrified. I actually had a phobia of speaking on the phone and speaking via Zoom. So I had to do a lot of
Wow.
meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay. I
Oh
had
yeah.
to do a lot of working with a hypnotherapist to try to overcome all these fears and nerves because it was literally, even on the group calls, like my heart would be beating going into the breakout room. I would just be like, like just a complete.
That's like me.
No, it doesn't come across at all. Like you manage to cover the nerves
Mm.
really well. You come across really
Oh,
natural. Yeah.
oh, well, you're inspiring me. So really thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
well, I
like,
think
okay.
it will all help for when, yeah, for when we start. Well, hopefully we'll be doing lots more, but it also gives us the
Yes.
opportunity if we want to actually be on other people's podcasts and things like that. So
So
it all
true.
it all helps, doesn't it? Yeah, I missed
Yes.
the last group session that you did where you guys are practicing some of the
Oh yeah.
dance. Yeah, that seemed a little bit edgy. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't get on that.
Yeah. So I was like, I did not want to at all, especially the prayer. And so then, yeah, those three did the prayer and I was just like, no. And then when she was like, okay, calm down, and then the same three got up to do that, and I was like, and it kept popping up on my thing, being like, unmute, unmute. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no, no. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to do it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it eventually. So
yeah. No, it's best.
Anyway,
It
yeah,
is best just to go for it, whilst we are in this safe container
that's
where
right.
it doesn't matter. There aren't any judgments because it's going to help later down the line. Yeah, you've just got to kind of throw yourself at it, even when you don't feel like doing it. Yeah, yeah.
It's so true. So yeah, and then at the end, did you see that Christabel was there?
Oh,
She
was
was like
she?
undercover. She was
Oh,
like
I didn't know.
undercover as
I know. I think I
Evelyn.
didn't watch the very end bit because I think I think I was on the train whilst I was listening to it or something, and I was
Oh
just
yeah. It was
watching
just once it
everyone.
got to the it was just once we got to the dance thing, like before they hang up the call.
Mm,
And then she like turned the video on. You know how it's usually
yeah,
Everly, and she just turned the video on and she's there.
yeah.
Oh no, she's been like there because I was thinking like the comments that were coming in. I was like, well, these like seem advanced comments for Everly.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, she really speaks like Christabel. I was like, Christabel's trained her very well.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. So let's
so
see what we'll be doing in these next two because we've got two sessions before we actually meet in
oh,
Hawaii.
do we?
We
Oh
have
yeah,
Tuesdays and
one with
Thursday.
Christabel,
Yeah,
one with
and then one
Freya.
with Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know they're gonna make I think they'll get someone to do the prayer every call, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, who knows after that? Probably actually she'll probably get us, yeah, to go and start describing the different waves of
Hmm.
ceremony.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, it feels like a lot. And then throwing all of the jet lag and everything else on top of it.
I know, I know.
Oh,
Well, I'll be for these next two calls, I'll be back in the van. So
yeah.
I'll be like on the road, I've got to make sure I
Oh,
have reception. But yeah, it'll be 5 a.m. just tuning in from the van.
oh.
Oh dear.
Okay, right. Time is nearly up on this.
Oh yeah. All
So
right.
I'm going to end it and then yeah, I'll download it and I'll edit out, this the first bit and this very end bit and then
Oh
I'll
yeah.
find a way to send you like the file transfer or
Something
something
for
how I can
something.
send the bigger file.
Amazing.
So, yay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
thank
that
you
was
as
great.
well. And yeah, good luck with with transitioning from leaving the house and getting back into the van and yeah, we'll see each other on the call on Tuesday.
Yes,
Yeah.
sounds good. All right, enjoy your comforts and luxuries. I
Yeah.
know what that's like to be so nice, hot running water
Yeah, I'm gonna have
after
a
so
nice
long off
bath tonight.
grid.
I just went and bought loads of little fizzy bath bombs and rose petals and
Oh,
things. So
yes. Oh, so nice. I should do that actually. My last night tonight, I should
yeah.
jump in the bathroom. I know it's quite late, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to get another bath for a while. Or maybe in Hawaii.
Oh, okay,
All
lovely.
right.
Well, thank you so much. Sending
Thank
lots of
you so
love.
much. Wow, lots of love. Chat to you
Bye.
soon. Bye.